Today's show was a fun one. We
Oh,
talked
hey.
about government regulation of mental health information being sold online, silly laws in
Yeah.
Florida and
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, silly is an understatement. And then I ended up ranting about the whole thing with Quad9 and Sony, which is just a mess.
Great rant. It was an excellent rant. People,
Yeah, it
you
was good.
definitely
I
want
liked
to
it. I support it.
stay tuned for the rant for sure. This is a follow up to a story John and I did, I think, 2 weeks ago about mental health apps selling personally identifying information along with like a list of mental health issues. Like it was crazy. Peter, I don't know if you watched it, but like devastatingly bad story. And the
Wait, you
issue,
guys were on 2 weeks ago? I didn't catch it, no.
yeah, if you're not here, the world just shuts down. But John and I did have a conversation.
Yeah, the world did just pause actually for like about 8 days.
Yeah, it was wild.
But once it spun back up, there was a new video for Peter to not watch, which where
Yep,
we
yep.
talked about it. We talked
I do
about
watch.
yeah, sure. We talked about the gross data collection of these teledoc apps
Yep.
and the sharing of that collection of like we're talking about mental disorders, physical disorders, and disabilities, and like just really nasty stuff.
Because people think about them as healthcare apps, healthcare providers, but they're not. They're not covered by HIPAA. Anything you put
No.
into one of these mental health apps is just information you're giving to a corporation that can do whatever the fuck they want with it, and they're selling it. Surprise!
And it's not an unreasonable thing for people to think that they are a health.
Of course not. And
Because
then
they
on the
exactly
flip
like
side, it's not unreasonable for these apps under the United States rule sets to
I
share
hate
this
that.
data. Is it bad? Sure. But why shouldn't
I
they
hate this
when there's
defense. I hate
nothing but there's nothing in the way, right? It's bad, yeah, but there's nothing. They're like, wait, we're not covered under HIPAA. We don't need to worry. So let's just sell the data. It's super fucked up.
All right.
Now
moving
this
on. We've
article,
talked about this.
though, is saying the FTC is proposing a ban to stop them from doing it.
But that's not the solution, I don't think.
No. It's
Here
the
they're
solution.
saying FTC to ban BetterHelp. BetterHelp is one app, right? Right?
Yeah, and
They
it
need
seems to be citing a specific settlement, but they're probably not the only app doing it.
The problem isn't that this is the right direction with the wrong set of steps.
Yeah.
okay.
Update HIPAA. That's the solution.
Yes. So I actually, this was going to be my reaction at the beginning. Yes, privacy regulations, federal privacy regulations are needed in the US, and there's been some steps towards that, blah, blah, blah. That is the correct solution to this kind of situation. But I don't think the FTC have that much power to be able to do that themselves. So they've done as much as they can. Are you sure?
Well, it falls under the FTC because it's regulating business.
Right. But
they're regulating the sale, the financial transactions, not the technicalities of the privacy policy.
Yeah, okay. I don't think they had the power. I think they would have done it if they could. And the reason I say that is because I've seen them try to introduce regulations before, and I've worked with some people from the government who were like, we wish we could do more, but this is the limit of our powers. This is what we have jurisdiction over, and this is what we can do. And they have to go through a whole process of like proposing things. They have to give a notification of upcoming proposals, and then have a proposal, and then take feedback from all sorts of different places. It's a tortuous process. But yeah.
And there's actually an article in the rundown that we didn't even pick up today about the FBI buying information from data brokers. So the FBI could just be buying this same information from BetterHelp just like anybody else.
In fact, they almost certainly are.
Probably were, yeah.
I think that the worst part isn't even that. The worst part is that this is more, I guess, philosophical in a way, but it's that once the data has been collected and once it's been put onto the marketplace, like there's no scrubbing that.
No.
Yeah, it's
There's
not
no
just
going back. You can't trace that. Someone somewhere is just going to be able to data dump like the database and
or hack them
after it's been
Like-
purchased or hack them and steal it. Like it's such a shit pool of things that have gone wrong.
There's been
I looked up while you guys
yeah.
were talking, I looked up who regulates HIPAA and who enforces it, and it's the Office for Civil Rights. And I've never even heard of them. So obscure. Like, anyway.
Anyway, it has some other stories this week, right? What else?
Just along
It's in
the idea of government regulation, I thought it was fun. This has been going around. This is like a shitty screenshot. I don't even know why I brought this up. But Florida had introduced a state bill that would require bloggers writing about Florida politicians to register as bloggers in the state of Florida.
What if I'm a journalist?
So they specifically exclude proper news sites. But I mean, the definition of who's a blog, like, does it apply to YouTubers?
Yeah,
does it like, there's a whole, it's
Are we
absolutely
bloggers?
absurd.
Are we vloggers?
Yeah, sure.
Video bloggers is a kind of, it's a subsection of the blogger universe.
Well, I'm not a Florida resident, so I don't think this applies to me.
If you
does
talk
this
about
have to-
Florida, so for example, if we were to talk about Senator Broder and whether he graduated from clown college or not, or whether he was a clown college dropout, we might have to register in the state of Florida to be able to have that conversation.
Okay,
but I feel like this kind of tramples on the whole. A lot of freedoms feel trampled here.
Oh, really, John? Like what? Like the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States?
Just
Like,
a
I don't
couple
know.
come to mind. Like I just feel like a lot of freedoms from such a freedom-giving place as Florida.
Oh, Florida loves
Very-
freedom.
very
Love
large
'em.
comical shoes that are being used to trample all over.
To trample
the
big
freedoms.
red shoes,
Big red
trample
ones with those
freedoms.
kind of
Which
the
Senator
the-
Broder may or may not be qualified to even wear.
That's true.
We just don't know.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Who
We
knows
just-
if he has? Is he even certified to wear
think-
large red squeaking shoes? It's important questions. We
Somebody
should
should
try to
look
get him
into
on
it.
the show.
Florida is
look into it.
amazing. Florida is the whole thing about Florida, man. Is I
Yeah.
don't know. It's so weird that like that it keeps coming up. There's a whole subreddit
Oh,
called
yeah.
Florida, man. Like
It's a real thing.
It's-
for sure.
Yeah.
Texas, not to be outdone,
Oh
sees
my
what's going on
God.
in Florida and says, hold my beer. Now, I think, to be fair, this thing in Texas happened first. They're basically trying to start their own internet by regulating what content can and can't be available on the internet to internet consumers in Texas. So they proposed a bill that would make it illegal for internet service providers to let users access information about how to get abortion pills.
this is crazy. This is so bonkers. Like it's just so like
What's the
what
problem,
is going
Peter?
on? I don't. But
I
I
don't
heard
see
that that is a sort of part of a long-term plan to like essentially secede from the internet, which is
It just doesn't work that way. So let's break down how the internet works in the hope that some regulators from Texas are watching.
Germany.
Let's talk
Quad
about
nine.
they don't care.
how the internet works. The way the internet works is that when
It's a
I go
series
to
of tubes.
Google,
Seriously,
when I go
I'm
to
sorry.
Google, okay, my internet service provider doesn't know what I'm actually looking at on Google. They know I went to Google. Yeah, I type in big red shoes, not for clowns. Okay. And I hit enter. My ISP, my internet service provider, has no clue that I searched for not clown shoes.
Or if you want to know if
Size-
Senator Broder and Elon Musk were the same model of clown
Right.
shoes.
Yeah, they will not know. The internet service provider literally can't know. But I will tell you how you can break some freedoms, how you can trample on some freedoms. And what you have to do is you have to deep packet inspect their all of their protected traffic using
just block
something like
Google.
a root cert. You could just buy Google. Yeah,
Block
that's an option.
Google.
Oh,
if Google
sure.
gives you access to prohibited information, just block Google.
That's a great solution.
Are we
Block
talking
Google.
about- Oh God.
All internet service providers can now not provide you Google results.
This is
So
worse than China.
You'd have to spin up your own search engine.
Yeah,
Not
it's
that
crazy.
hard, right? Like it's pretty easy, I think, to crawl the entire internet.
Sure. I feel like I've done it a couple times over.
But now, yeah. So you're not blocking Google, let's say, on the IP level. You're only blocking it on the DNS level. Well, how do we stop all of these users from putting in their own DNS to get to Google?
Block all the DNS.
Well, now you have to be a DNS provider. So not that hard. Honestly, not that hard. Really, like coming from a few guys who've worked on and in DNS for a few years, it's not that tough. Make your own DNS servers.
This is what Germany is trying to force Quad 9 to do, coming out of the Sony.
Oh my God,
the piracy. The piracy. Of course, they target the like bootstrapped, self-funded, tiny DNS provider.
Peter has no feelings on this topic.
Oh my God, it really fucks me off so badly. It's so, and not only so. God, I don't know where to start with this. I kept on trying to write comments. There was a thing this week where the Quad 9 case, where Sony are suing them for being distributors of illegal content, has gone from the Hamburg court to the Leipzig court, and the Leipzig court have upheld the decision. And not only that, they've said that it doesn't just apply to people in Germany; it applies to everybody. And they want Quad 9 to block the access to the stuff to everybody, because the VPN thing that can be used to get around it means that anybody from Germany could be. Oh my God, it's so frustrating. It's so messed up that Sony is going after a non-profit company with no legal fund and saying that we want to tell you what is legal and illegal, and you have to like do what we say, not what the government says, what we say. I think someone should sue Sony for making televisions that don't block stuff that I say is illegal. Like, I think that Sony should be sued for making a telly that I can access illegal sites on.
Pirates are the most. They're not the most. Pirates are they have ingenuity. DNS level blocking does not work. It doesn't work because it's just one layer behind an IP. Are you gonna manually block IPs? Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Sony knows this, right? So, Peter, do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think so? I mean, so you know, Sony knows this, right? What's the end game?
They want to have power over all DNS resolvers, essentially. And the thing is that you're right, John. It doesn't work. It's not an effective way of blocking pirated content, but it is. It's a certain percentage effective. If you could block access to the piratebay.org and say that all DNS resolvers had to fail to resolve that domain, piracy on the internet would go down. That's what Sony wants.
For a little bit. Like, piracy will go down like that. Like, and then it'll come right back up again. You couldn't see my hand going up, but it did.
Yeah. It's not the point really for them. It's that they want to try everything and anything, and just the way they're going about it, and the fact that it's useless is just makes me. It's pathetic. It's
but
enraging.
to go against Quad 9 specifically is such a dirty, low life move,
and it's kind of scary. Because
they just need
they're
to
winning.
set the precedent.
It's going to go all the way to the European Court of Justice, which is like the equivalent of the Supreme Court, and it will probably get it will be overturned at that point, because Germany's not. Well, I'm not going to talk about Germany.
We can hope.
It would definitely will. 100%. I put money on it.
But the amount of resources that Quad 9 has had to shell out.
Please donate to. Don't subscribe to us. Don't join our Discord, but donate to Quad 9. But give them $10, $5, whatever.
Is free. They're not alternatives. People can do both.
Okay, no,
we are actually bringing awareness, but also like, if you want your internet privacy, if you're European, you want your internet privacy to stay intact.
Like the show.
Yeah,
like I was going to say go donate, but also why don't we link Quad 9 at the bottom of this article?
More work for Peter.
Video.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, no, like Sony is such a dirty company. This is the grossest tactic. And the worst part is that it not only won't work, but it's not really going to put a dent in anything. Because like I said before, piracy is traditionally and just it's inherently technical. It's
But they're
not
going after
easy to be a pirate.
They're going after the casual pirates.
Yeah, but the casual pirates aren't going to fold. The casual pirates are going to Google, why does my streamsite.com not work anymore? That'll lead them to a Reddit thread that says your shit government blocked this because of Sony. And then they're going to be like, what's the solution?
I think you always overestimate those things.
No.
Yeah.
What was your question, Peter?
Overestimate anything.
I think we should do a whole episode on this one day, but maybe not today.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to save my anger for another episode.
Nice. Oh, okay. You're planning ahead you're pacing yourself for the week.
Yeah, I've got a lot of pent up rage this week for a couple of reasons, which some of you might have heard about, by the way.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Anybody who hasn't heard about it, you're going to.